Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thanks to Kiai Haji Muhammad Hasan Mutawakil Alawah. Thanks to the Dr. Abdul Aziz Wahab BAMAG as Rector of Zainul Hasan Genggong Islamic University, and many thanks to Mr. Ferry Ferdianto as the lecturer of extensive reading. And also, thank you very much to my parents who always support me. My name is Diva from English Education Department, and here I will read the chapter 2 with the title When to Use Female Nouns. Today's topic is the use of feminine nouns such as actress and comedian. These days, people often see such terms as sexist, but it's also common to hear at least some of them. So, what exactly are the modern rules for using such term? Actually, this isn't a matter of grammar, it's about writing to minimize the potential for readers to draw conclusion you don't want to convey. Other languages have two more feminine nouns. It could be words. In some languages, most nouns have different forms for different sexes. For example, in Spanish, a male lawyer is an abogado and a female lawyer is an abogada. Furthermore, in some languages, even verbs can have different forms, depending on the sex of their subject. In Hebrew, ra means so for masculine subject, while rata means so for feminine subject. In Mandarin Chinese, a man can marry a woman, but a woman can only be married to a man. Even in English, there are used to be more female specific nouns than there are now. Centuries ago, people used now absolute nouns such as teachers, soldiers, and ministers. The fact that English has mostly abandoned female specific nouns like this is probably part of the reason that the remaining ones tend to attract attention. Paired nouns are okay. Sometimes male and female specific nouns don't suggest problematic messages. Pairs such as prince and princess, duck and duchess, abbot and abbess are unobjectionable. In these pairs, the male specific term never refers to both males and females, even though it might be convenient to have a word to refer to any child of a king or queen. Prince can only mean a king or queen's son. So, if the sexes are treated equally, each one having its own term, the female specific term is probably okay. Some gender-neutral nouns, such as flight attendant, have become standard. The next easiest cases are those where a gender-neutral term has become popular. In recent decades, gender-neutral terms such as firefighter, police officer, male carrier, and flight attendant have gained currency. Definitely use this. Problem arise when a noun exists to call out only one sex. The troublesome cases are when we have one term that can refer to either sex and another that refer only to women. Take the word author. It can refer to man or woman in a sentence such as our agency presents many authors. But if you use author to refer to writers of either sex and the exclusively feminine authors to refer to female authors, you now have a way to referring specifically to female authors, but no way to referring specifically to male authors. The implication is that most authors are male and that it's worth pointing out when one of them isn't. As the Cambridge Grammar of the English language says, the marked term suggests some difference in status and may imply lower standard or achievement. Is there ever a good reason to write female doctor? This issue comes up even when there aren't gender-specific terms. For example, doctor can be either masculine or feminine. Sally McConnell Jeanette, a linguist at Cornell University who specializes in language and gender, advice: if you write female doctor, then ask yourself why you want to emphasize that a certain doctor is a woman. Do you write male doctor in similar context? Her point is that sexism in society makes it easy to send messages in our word choice that we don't intend to send. Make sure your words are relevant. The guidelines suggested in Garner Modern American Usage and the Merriam-Webster Dictionary of English Usage is to avoid using a gender-specific noun unless sex is relevant to the discussion. Usually it isn't. Sex doesn't typically matter when you're talking about doctors or authors, for example. But what about when sex is relevant? Another case in point: actress, male and female actor, usually play different kinds of roles. So it's useful for people in show business to make this distinction. If actors save them from having to use female actor, why not use it? Unfortunately, even if you follow this guideline of using gender-neutral noun forms in most cases and gender-specific nouns only when sex is relevant, the problem remains. You'll end up using female-specific terms to talk specifically about women, but where's the analogs? Male-specific terms? If there isn't one, you may still be sending a message that woman doing some job is pricing news. And indeed, although there is something a good reason to use the word actress, that hasn't stopped it from acquiring negative connotation. And were told by contact in the industry. In case like this, the linguistic change is ongoing. The usage of the audience you're writing for can be a good guide. If a certain community use actress where they are clearly not devaluing women acting, feel free to do likewise. If they insist on actors across the board, you may want to follow suit. Summary: if there's a gender-neutral term in general use it. If there's not, but the masculine and feminine nouns each stay in their own territory, then use them. Be careful when one term can refer to either sex, another term refers only to women, and no term refers only to women. In these cases, avoid referring to a person's sex if possible, and if it's not, carefully assess the usage of your audience. But remember that these rules are just shortcuts. What matters is getting across the messages of you want to send and trying to block those you don't. I think enough from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.